But first, the sheer hypocrisy of Labor to lecture us about green energy and reducing the carbon footprint, yet take a look at this shocker. Albo and his Energy Minister, Blackout Bowen, flew separately in 2 private jets to the Hunter last week to attend the same event. Now, this story was first revealed by Ben Fordham on 2GB this morning. An eagle-eyed local snapped this picture of the Falcon 7X planes on the tarmac at Scone that Albo and Bowen flew in separately to make, well, would you believe, an environmental announcement about solar panels at the site of the former coal-fired Liddell Power Station. Now, the irony in this is incredible. You've got the climate change cult of Albo and Bowen flying in separate jets to tell us why they're spending $1 billion of our money on green energy. It takes the meaning of the word hypocrisy to dizzying new heights. And this from bumbling Bowen, who thinks his carbon footprint is okay, but the rest of us have to cut emissions. I mean, listen to the praise the PM had for him at that very press conference.
We have a minister with vision in Chris Bowen. I applaud the work that Minister Bowen has done.
A minister with vision. It's a clown show. Well, his vision is just as impaired as Albo's. Because here is where it gets more tricky for Labor. Bowen was trundled out for the media this morning to try and weasel the government out of the private jet mess.
The Air Force advised that the most efficient way of getting the Prime Minister and 2 Cabinet Ministers to the Liddell Power Station was to go to Scone Airport, where the runway was not rated for the Prime Minister's normal large jet. As you know, the Prime Minister always travels with the Royal Australian Air Force. All Prime Ministers have for living memory, as long as certainly I've been involved. That's for security reasons and quite appropriate. Prime Minister has a large jet available to him. That would normally be what we take. The runway at Scone wasn't strong enough to take the large jet, so the Air Force recommended and took the decision for 2 small jets. So
Labor is pointing the finger at the RAAF, as Bowen then goes on to explain.
Even the small jets weren't fully laden because of the weight restrictions. We limited the number of staff. And even then, that was the Air Force advice, the most efficient way of getting us there.
But it just gets more confusing because Ray Hadley on 2GB subsequently discovered that the RAAF only act at the request of the Prime Minister.
I have an email from someone who was an employee in the area that tasked VIP Air Force aircraft. And he says, with some clarity, and I have confirmed it, I can politely say that the Prime Minister obviously doesn't know how the system works. Ray, the Royal Australian Air Force does not provide assets until all approvals are provided to tasks directed by the PM's department. So we're directed by the PM's department to supply aircraft at their request.
So the Air Force does not provide resources until tasked by the PM. Now, I've done a quick Google search of the Falcon 7X plane, and according to the Air Force's official website, the 7X has a standard crew of 3 pilot, co-pilot and crew attendant, and can carry up to 14 passengers. It also has a range of up to 11,000 kilometres. So let's get this right. It's capable of flying non-stop for 12 hours. It can fly from Los Angeles to Paris. And Albo and co were just flying Canberra to Scone on 2 planes with a combined capacity of 28 people. And it gets even more tricky for Labor because after the PM and co arrived in Scone, they drove 50 kilometres to Liddell for the press conference. Well, there were no Commonwealth cars in Scone. So where did the cars come from? Did they travel up from Sydney 300 kilometres away or Canberra 550 k's? So more emissions and more ducking and weaving by Labor. Albo and his so-called visionary minister, Bowen, have been caught out. They have the nerve to lecture us on renewables, yet our power bills are still going up, All the while, they are spending our purse travelling in two gas-guzzling private jets to the same place. If you're going to talk the green energy talk, you've got to walk the walk. And we know we can't believe anything Albo says, because remember this, Furphy?
My word is my bond.
There are more questions than answers.
The electorate can see sort of right through this sorts of hypocrisy. And I think as we get closer to the election, they're going to continue to see through this hypocrisy from this government that's very much do as I say, not as I do.
You would have to question, firstly, is the private jet the best use of money? But secondly, if both of them are going to the same destination and the same event to the same venue, why aren't they on the same private jet?
And not to mention, it also presents a broader problem about Polly's travel entitlements. Remember when Workplace Relations Minister Tony Burke, or Pay on Your Purse Tone, went on a 4-day spending spree with your money to the tune of over 50 grand on a trip to the US. And Defence Minister and VIP flyer Richard Marles spent $3 million of taxpayers' money on plane travel since the last election. They just get off scot-free. Minimal scrutiny over multiple incidents. This government is treating us like mugs. It's one rule for the left and another for the rest of us.